thank you everybody for attending today's Exploring Exporting session focused around what services Export Development Canada can provide to Canadian businesses looking to export. We will also be hearing afterwards from the Toronto Board of Trade about the Trade Accelerator program that provides training for businesses to develop their export plans. I'd first like to introduce Jessica Russell, Account Manager with Export Development Canada, to provide an overview of her organization's services. Jessica, I'll turn things over to you.
Thanks very much, Becky. Hello, everyone, and I'm here from Export Development Canada, as mentioned by Becky, covering Simcoe County and Muskoka, and here to and living in Aurelia, and here to really help Canadian companies figure out how, in fact, they can export if they don't export, and if they do export, how we can help support them in their exporter journey. So a little bit about Export Development Canada first. So we've been around for over 75 years, and we are Canada's export credit agency. We were created originally to provide credit insurance mainly, but since then we've really changed into and morphed into a much different company today. We can do, of course, credit insurance, but many, many other things, such as provide information for Canadian companies that export or want to export. We also do financing, and we also help support bonding and risk mitigation and risk management. We help Canadian companies of all sizes, and this is one thing that often companies come to me and say, oh, I'm a service company, or I'm really small and I do export, but you probably can't help us. Absolutely, we can help companies that are traditional exporters, so exporting a good or a widget. We also can help Canadian companies that export knowledge and expertise. And we also help Canadian companies that aren't exporting today but want to export. So of all sizes, I have companies in my portfolio that have annual sales of 100,000 all the way to 3 billion. So we do help companies of all sizes. And we really truly want to help Canadian companies that are in the smaller and medium-sized spaces, because they are our next large corporate companies, and they will help move the dial for Canada in these upcoming 10 years. So just a little understanding about what EDC has done in the last couple of years. Last year, we supported just under $500,000 of jobs and conducted $102 billion worth of business. As you can see, we do have our customers served is almost 25,000 customers, which has upped dramatically. When I started in 2010, typically our customer count would be 8,000 customers. So we've really tried to help more Canadian companies, because we have been tasked with really truly moving the dial for Canadian trade on the international market. We want to be, once again, a leader in international trade. We want Canada to be a leader. So the only way to get there is through organizations like ourselves to help Canadian companies do just that. So as mentioned, we are seen as the international risk experts. We have knowledge and understanding in many different fields, but primarily in risk mitigation. We want to help you companies understand what risks exist when exporting and how to manage and mitigate those risks. So as mentioned before, we have 4 buckets of services or products that we provide. First and foremost, we provide insurance, which is credit insurance, typically, which we help Canadian companies make sure that they get paid for all their hard work. We also provide financing, both through banks and directly if banks aren't wanting to participate. We can provide knowledge and expertise for companies to make informed decisions as they export, and those that are exporting, help them have more in-depth knowledge. And then finally, connections. We do this on a very ad hoc basis and in a small number. We help Canadian companies get connected with international buyers if they have products that are asked by international buyers. We provide financing to big, large corporations around the world. And when we do so, we expect that they start buying more from Canada. And in order to do that, we matchmake some Canadian companies with those products and services that large international corporation that is borrowing from us is asking for. And we also have 20 offices across Canada and 21 representatives around the world. So with all those expertise, we do help Canadian companies get connected to those large corporations or even smaller corporations around the world. So a little bit more about EDC solutions. We really want to help Canadian companies along the whole exporter journey, as mentioned, from the moment they start creating a strategy to the moment that they are growing their export sales, and everywhere in between. As you can see in this slide, we can provide a lot of assistance throughout the many stages through the exporter journey. You know, we can help you with understanding its strategy, giving you some extra skills. We can help you, build an export plan, which you can also do through the Trade Accelerator program that Tony's going to talk about afterwards. We also can help manage risk, right? Getting ready to export, finding the right buyers. So this is a very in-depth slide, but all I wanted to mention is that we can really help you throughout the whole journey. And if you ever have a problem or a challenge or an opportunity throughout your journey, please do give me a call, because we can explore how we can assist you. And if I can assist you, I'm happy to introduce you to other company or other organizations or agencies or companies in the area that can assist. So export credit or credit insurance. So the benefits of credit insurance. Well, what is it first? Credit insurance is allowing you to make sure that you are getting paid for all your hard work. If you're selling something overseas or even in Canada and you offer them terms and you don't get paid right away, there is a risk that you might not get paid. So in an effort to mitigate that risk, you can get credit insurance, and it will allow you to get coverage for 90% of your receivable. The benefits of this would be that you can, of course, mitigate the risk of non-payment. You can offer more competitive terms to your customers, both competitive terms such as a longer tenor, so longer payment terms, but also you can also increase the amount of credit that you're offering your buyers if in fact they're buying often from you. And you can mitigate the risk of non-payment by, there's some markets that are riskier, some markets that aren't doing really well because of COVID, and some markets that are high risk that you might not sell to otherwise unless you have insurance. So what does it do? It protects your profits and balance sheet. The number one asset that you have typically on your balance sheet is your accounts receivable. So we can cover that and help ensure that. You insure your car, your house. Why not insure your receivables with your business? It also allows you to reduce the risk. You only take 10% risk instead of 100% of the risk when you offer credit. And it allows you to maybe get access to working capital at the bank. Some banks will not give any value for receivables that are overseas that aren't insured. And if in fact you have a lot of your sales overseas, then you will likely not be able to leverage any line of credit with the bank unless you get insurance. And then we have at EDC very flexible options for insurance. We can provide insurance for one buyer, multiple buyers, your whole book of sales, or you can just choose a couple risky buyers. And it's all can be customizable to make sense for your business. As mentioned, we have we have options. So there's credit insurance for one buyer, which is called the Select Credit Insurance, which is outlined here on the left-hand side. This is only one buyer for up to 6 months. It allows you to have insured transactions of under $500,000. And it's really fast. The coverages you apply online and you're given the yay or nay quite quickly. On the other hand, it's the portfolio credit insurance where you can choose some buyers, many buyers to insure. This is typically when you have a lot of export sales and a lot of return customers that you would like to insure. It's much easier under a portfolio credit insurance policy. This could also cover pre-shipment risks. So if you want to add contract cancellation into your policy, the only way to do so would be to get portfolio credit insurance, and it allows you to cover at least 90% of all your costs incurred up to the moment that the contract is canceled. It's really beneficial for companies that are producing goods to order, so that are custom orders, companies that are doing private labels, for example, or companies that are doing services that are, tailored to that buyer. Those are, you cannot necessarily resell those designs. You cannot resell that product, that widget that you created for them. So you want to ensure the contract cancellation risk, because you may be left with a whole bunch of product that is unsaleable at the end. So as mentioned, there's more than just default and bankruptcy covered under this under these insurance. We also cover repudiation, which is a risk that exists when they're in trading companies. Well, when the goods are at port but they're not picked up, that means that we cover the risk of you going ahead and selling that product at a loss, and we cover the difference at 90%. It also covers the risks for import-export restrictions. One day that maybe that product's allowed to be exported and imported into that country, and then maybe while the product's on the water, it's no longer. So we cover that risk as well. So just an easy case study is simply that a company is selling outside of Canada and in the US, and these are new buyers. They don't know them. They've never sold to them before. And they're wondering, how am I going to get paid? Am I going to get paid? How am I going to finance this? So EDC provides coverage under the insurance for 90%. And now her bank will lend against her foreign receivables at 90%. So all of a sudden, this Canadian sporting good company has both access to feeling comfortable selling to a new buyer and having access to bank financing for this new growth. So another bucket of within EDC is we have credit insurance, and then we also have bonding solutions. Bonding solutions are a bit specific to certain types of companies in certain industries, where they have to post bonds for like advance payments or warranties in order to secure the contract. And when you do ask these types of documents to be created by your bank's trade finance teams, they typically ask for 100% collateral to issue a standby letter of credit or letter of guarantee. And the risk to you then is that all of a sudden you may have asked for an advance payment, and that money, and then the buyer says, I'll give you an advance payment, but I want to have some security to know that you're going to do as you said you're going to do and produce the goods that you say you're going to. So I would like, when they do that, the bank will issue that document is now tied up in their bank, and they're unable to use it. So EDC can come in and provide a guarantee to support your financial institution to allow you to issue these documents without the carve out from the line of credit. There's tons of different types of bonds that we can support, such as warranty, advance payment, bid bonds. Those are the most common, but we also have seen a huge uptick on companies trying to give supplier bonds, which is give a bond to your supplier in order to A, get better terms from your supplier, or B, get more credit from your supplier. If in fact, like everyone today is either really busy or having supply chain issues getting products, so what companies are doing to overcome that is that they are asking their suppliers to give them higher credit limits or buying in bulk. And when that happens, they're buying more and they're likely not to get good credit terms. Oftentimes when they're buying in bulk, the suppliers may say, we want 100% upfront or 100% upon shipping, which doesn't help the Canadian exporter with their trade cycle. So you could work with your bank and EDC the bank will provide the standby letter of credit in the name of your supplier for up to a year. And then EDC can come in the background and provide the guarantee to the bank to release the need for the security or collateral, but allow you to get better payment terms. Essentially, it's like free cash. It's an equity injection, and the pricing is typically less than your line of credit would be. So an example of this, it would be that Jim has won a $1 million contract in the US, which requires a 10% performance bond, letter of guarantee, also known as a standby letter of credit. The idea here is that this buyer doesn't know Jim and doesn't know whether Jim's company is going to be able to perform on the contract as they have wished, as they said they can. So in order to feel secure in giving them the contract, they've asked for a performance bond. 10 to 15% is a typical performance bond request that we would look to support. So he speaks to his bank and they say, sure, we will issue that document, but you need to give us the 100% of that amount. You need to give us the full amount. So the full amount is $100,000 will be tied up in cash for the entire length of the contract, which obviously would hamper his working capital for both this contract and future contracts. So in order to overcome that requirement, he came to EDC and we provided the bank our guarantee, which is 100% unconditional, irrevocable guarantee. And now all of a sudden the bank can issue that without any collateral. Financing. This is something that we have absolutely seen an uptick in with EDC is providing financing solutions. And the idea is that we can help your bank provide you financing that is unique, that is different than the banks typically can do, So for example, we can help a bank give you PO financing or pre-shipment financing. We can also help your bank provide you with an increased line of credit or an operating line when you never were able to get one before. We can help the bank finance a foreign acquisition, entry into a new market, buying a subsidiary, financing inventory or equipment overseas, and many other things, term loans for equipment. We can help with many things. Actually, this guarantee that we're talking about, where we support the bank, can be used 12 different ways. So if you need money in a different way than the bank can typically give it to you, which is typically a line of credit, then absolutely give me a call because we can look at ways we can support you. The benefits of this program is that all of a sudden we are risk sharing with your financial institution. So what does that mean? That means that we, along with the bank, are taking the risk. So the bank doesn't have to be the only one who's taking the risk, which benefits you greatly. That means you can have an increased maybe line of credit or have access to more working capital. You may be able to go ahead and expand as you wanted to internationally, because banks here in Canada don't like to take, when you take assets outside of Canada, they won't take that risk with you. So we can help them finance you overseas by taking 100% of the risk off their plates. And we can complement your existing banking relationship. If your bank seems tapped out and they're not willing to increase the line anymore because a lot of your assets are outside of Canada, or alternatively, a lot of your receivables are outside of Canada, or they're just seeing you as a risky company because you all of a sudden have buyer concentration. You have very few buyers, but they do a lot of business with you. Those are things that banks don't love. So we can help the bank overcome that by providing a guarantee to them and risk sharing with them. It gives them a greater risk appetite. We also can do direct lending, and I will say that we don't do this very often, and we're certainly not a lender. We don't want to be competing with the bank, so only doing this when your current bank isn't interested in providing the financing that you require. So we can do this. This is a product that is not off the shelf. It is structured to make sense for you. It is priced to risk and priced to market. And we typically do loans for purchase orders or CapEx, so our capital expenditures, for typically over $1 million. The idea is that the bank isn't interested in lending for these contracts or this capital expenditure, maybe because it's overseas or maybe because they've already they already have a lot of loans out to you that, and they don't love how your business is changing to being more export and overseas. So if that's the case, sometimes they come to us. I'll let you know that we certainly don't do this all the time, simply because we aren't a bank, and it does take a lot of time and effort to provide these types of loans. But when we do, it really has to make sense. So here's a financing case study. Jill has an apparel company that has won her largest contract to date, and it's in Australia, very far away. This contract would double the company's revenue and provide an opportunity to enter into a new market. So all of a sudden, she has two challenges. One is that the market that she's penetrating is very far away, all the way across the world in Australia, and now she needs to get money in order to grow with this and be able to do this large contract, to make sure that she can actually fulfill the large contract. The best way to do that would be to get pre-shipment financing. Why? Because she has a large contract. She has a lot of upfront costs that she has to finance, and the market is so far away that she's not getting payment until they're delivered, and then 30 days after that. So the time gap or the trade cycle is very long, and the cash flow gap is very long. So the only way to overcome that would be for her to get PO financing or contract financing, or also known as pre-shipment financing. Banks don't provide pre-shipment financing typically, and the only way that they can do that is through working with us. So we provide a guarantee to your bank, to Jill's bank, and then Jill was able to risk share with EDC and her bank, and now all of a sudden we can allow, by us participating, the bank will advance up to 100% of her pre-shipment costs. So now she can go ahead, take on that contract, feel comfortable signing that contract and selling to Australia. This is for a case study where we're looking at an opportunity for a technology company to acquire business in the US. The Exporters Bank was not willing to lend against US assets because it is outside of their jurisdiction and it's risky. And so the only way to do that was to get 100% guarantee from EDC to the bank, and then the bank was able to fund 100% of the, or up to 100% of the money needed for the acquisition. Sometimes we also can do this through a direct lend if the bank's not willing to participate, as mentioned before. And as mentioned, our last bucket is knowledge and advisory services. So we have a partnership with the Forum for International Trade Training, which is FITT, where you can we have a whole bunch of learning series where that are not very long, but companies can enter and pay to take, that will teach them about many different things, such as market entry strategies, sales channels, foreign exchange, international contracts, etc. We also have the Export Help, which is a place you can go to ask questions and get some answers. And we have real people that actually answer your questions. We can provide you with a quality list of service providers that you can trust, such as shipping companies or brokers or customs brokers. And we can provide you a whole bunch of insights, and we have white papers and a lot of information internally that we can help you share with you about certain markets and industries that can help you so you feel confident when you export. And that's it. As mentioned, my name is Jessica Russell, and I'm a senior account manager, and I do cover the Simcoe County, Muskoka region, and I'd be happy to discuss anything with you. Here's my coordinates. Feel free to call me or email me if you have any questions or concerns. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Jessica. That was a great presentation, very informative. I personally did not know everything that you guys did. I took probably 3 pages of notes while you were speaking. So that's great. I'm now going to turn things over to Tony Jabor, Industry Relations Coordinator with the Toronto Board of Trade, to speak about the Trade Accelerator program that may be of interest to any business that's looking to get into exporting marketplace. So Tony, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Becky. Thank you, Jessica. So thank you all for joining us today, and thank you for your time. I'll be sharing my screen for a quick presentation about the Trade Accelerator program. Okay. So Trade Accelerator program, or we call it TAP. So this program has been created by the Toronto Region Board of Trade and its trade arm, the World Trade Center Toronto. So this program was created 6 years ago. Last week, we had our 6-year anniversary. And this program was created because there's a lot of resources available here in Canada to support companies that are looking to export and enter the international market. But the different resources are scattered all over the place. So TAP is the only program that combines different resources in one program. And we're going to be introducing all the resources and connecting you with the experts that are going to be available with us. In addition to that, we'll also be helping you build an export strategy or an export plan. This is important to use internally and externally for your company. It's a good document to have with you if you're going to try to acquire any additional financing or are going to apply to any grants that is available by the government. If you compare Canada to different countries around the world, the past 18 years, Canada increased its exports by 60%, compared to the US 200%, Russia around 400%, and then India 800%, and China 1,200%. So there is still a lot of room for us to grow. And Canada got trade agreements with different countries around the world. And it's really good to make the best use of all the resources available here. So we tried to create this program. In the virtual format, it's going to be 7 sessions over 5 weeks. Each session is going to be around 3 hours and a half. We're going to cover specific topics related to international trade and exporting. After each session, you're going to start building part of your export plan. We're going to be giving you all different resources, previous export plans that you can use. And we're going to be also including forms that can help you start building your export plan. After these 7 sessions, you're going to have some time to finalize your export plan. And then you're going to be sitting with the mentors available, and they're going to give you feedback on your export plan. So it's going to be 30 minutes one-on-one with each mentor. There's going to be around 8 to 10 mentors available with us in the program, and they'll be giving you feedback and covering specific topics just to make sure if you missed anything, if you can improve your export plan. Their feedback is really important because they worked with hundreds of companies previously over the years. And they want to make sure that your export plan is solid and that you can use it to enter a specific market. We're going to have with us, and our national sponsors are Export Development Canada, EDC, Business Development Bank of Canada, BDC, RBC, Royal Bank of Canada. In addition to that, we're going to have the Ministry of MAJCET, so Ministry of Economic Development, Job Creation and Trade, Trade Commissioner Services. We're also going to have freight forwarding services and lawyers and accountants. So everything that you need when it comes to exporting. As I said, we'll be covering each topic. And what you can take from this program are 3 things. First of all, your export plan. And it's really important if you're going to try to get any additional funding or financing. When you have your export plan ready, it becomes easier to apply for any grants. In addition to that, connections is the most important part. You're going to be able to connect with the ecosystem when it comes to international trade. They're going to get to know your business. You're going to get to know them, learn about different resources, how they can help you. You don't have to start exporting or enter a new market by yourself. There's a lot of resources. It can save you a lot of time. It can help you cut costs. In addition to that, it can protect you when you're going internationally. So why not use the different resources available? You're going to be able to connect with the experts after the program. You're going to be able to work with them. And it's really a great opportunity for you to be able to have an idea on the market that you're going to enter. In addition to that, be able to connect with all the experts. The third thing is different resources. So building the connections, building your export plan, and then learning more about the different resources available. There's a lot of government resources. The experts that are going to be available with us, they're going to share about different resources that can help you out. So it's really good to have, to learn about the ecosystem when it comes to international trade. So some statistics that I'm going to be sharing about TAP. So first of all, more than 50% of companies that are joining us are represented by underrepresented groups. So it's a safe space for anyone that would like to learn more about international trade. We welcome everyone to take part of this program. Jobs created and maintained. We focus on jobs created and maintained. So it's 4.2 jobs per company, especially after COVID. I met up with a company earlier today, and he was telling me this is really important to me because I didn't want to let go any of my employees during COVID. So I do understand a lot of companies might maybe went through a difficult phase or a difficult time throughout COVID, but we're looking forward to after COVID, and we're looking forward to grow your businesses and help you to make the best use of the rebounding economy that is going to take place. Compared to the Ontario average annual salary, so the Ontario average annual salary is around 52K. Jobs that are created by companies that are graduating from the program is around 70K per job. So the third part is the increase in revenue and increase in export revenue. So increase in total revenue is around 18%, and the increase in total export, average export revenue per year is around 18%. If you compare this with pre-COVID, the number was around, increase in export revenue was around 34%. So yes, COVID did play had an impact and play a role in this, but the companies that did join us were able to still grow throughout the pandemic, which is an extremely positive thing. Also, we do accept companies that are already exporting to a specific market, but they're looking to enter a new market, or they don't have any experience with exporting. They want to learn more about exporting. They want to meet the experts, the ecosystem, learn more about it, and then they're going to start exporting. So 37% of companies, they started exporting after TAP. They didn't have any experience. And after graduating from TAP, they were able to start exporting. As I said, part of the companies that do join us, maybe they had demand from one specific market. Maybe they exported once or twice, but they're looking to have a solid export plan. They're looking to enter the market in a more strategic way. They found out that they can do business in that market. There's a lot of demand, and they want to make sure that they're making the best use of their work in that market. So connecting with different experts is always really important, and building the expert plan can help you connect with the experts. They can learn more about your work, what you're doing, what are your plans when you enter that market, and that makes it much easier for even the experts to be able to help you out. So financing. So around 50% of companies that are joining us, 47%, did manage to get additional financing after graduating from TAP. On average, $1.1 million per company. We'll be introducing different grants and financing options, funding resources. We'll be letting you know, okay, these are the resources that are available, and we'll introduce you to them. And 50% of companies after graduating from TAP applied to different resources and were successful in getting additional financing. So companies that we accept in TAP. So the annual gross revenue that we're looking for is around 500,000 annual gross revenue. We do accept companies below the 500K, It really depends on the value proposition. It depends on what your plans are for the future. What I ask for is for you, if you're interested in this program, you can go on our website and apply for TAP. Even if you're below the 500K annual gross revenue, a program manager will meet with you and understand better about your business. And there's a possibility that we're going to be able to accept you to the program. In regards to commitment, so we do ask for 2 participants to join from each company, preferably 1 senior executive, or if 2 senior executives are able to join, that would be even better. We ask for you to complete a written export plan within the given time frame. We do follow up with you after the program, just to make sure that if you do need any additional support after graduating, we're able to connect you with different resources that can help you out if you're facing a specific challenge in your business when it comes to exporting, and just for us to understand how you're doing and to be able to understand better if TAP did help you after you graduated. Other than that, we might ask you for an authorization to use you as a success story or your image, but we do welcome any companies to be able that are looking to export to join our program. It's a great program to help any company in Ontario and across Canada as well. As I said, we're in over 25 cities as well across Canada. We first started in Toronto, but now we're in different provinces and we have different partners that we're working with. So if you think that this is something that can benefit you, you're welcome to join us. And that's it from my side, Becky.
Thank you, Tony. Our office 100% recommends this program for anybody who's looking to get into exporting. The Sandbox out of the city of Barrie is one of the partners locally that's running the program. So you can contact Tony at the information provided, or you can contact the Sandbox to learn more information about the program. So I'd like to thank everyone and our speakers today for participating in the program. If anyone listening to the presentation afterwards has any questions or would like any information about any of the topics or any other information that may be relevant, please feel free to contact us at edo@simcoe.ca, and our office would be happy to assist you with anything. Thank you, and thanks for participating.